And especially for those getting started, I think the message that I was wanting to hit home on today is it's okay to pay a little bit more if you get into something that starts to build your discretionary income over
Yes.
long periods of time and has the opportunity to go up. I mean, and if it doesn't go up, it pays itself off, and so be it. But as long as it cash flows.
What if I told you there was a different way to transact? And maybe it's not a different way to transact, but it's certainly a different way to think about transacting. Lots of us think about money. What does it take for me to buy or do this thing? But what if we talked about it as time? This is an idea that Cody Davis has brought to me this morning, and I want to see where he takes this. Cody, what do you got? What you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about resource pools, because there's what I've found is that all the people that have all the money tend to be a little older than the people who don't, just statistically speaking.
That's valid.
Yeah, you have to play with the pieces that you have. And so my thought was, if there's a lot of younger folks, their 20s to their 40s, and they don't have a lot of money yet, and they're trying to buy a rental, why not start looking at your resource pool of time? Because the people that don't have the money statistically have more time than the people who do. It just was an observation that I made. So my thought process was, rather than necessarily buying on price, why not just find something that will cash flow a little bit with super long-term debt? Because if we look around us, assets, at least if you're not deliberately overpaying a ridiculous amount, if you're buying in a normal market, it'll go up over time. Mm-hmm. And if we have time as a resource, we can afford to wait as long as it covers itself and we don't have an impending balloon or our debt's going to change. And so I came to this thought process. I was like, well, when I got started, I paid a little bit more than everyone else would have paid, but I had such long-term debt and cash flow, I could afford to get a little lower return right now and wait for it to appreciate. And it came up in my head as that idea of, I'm transacting with time, not with money. I'm getting terms from these sellers because I'm paying them a little more, but I've got the time to wait it out. And anybody that's in there, well, really under probably 45, they got a whole cycle in them at the, statistically speaking, they can last 15 years plus.
Oh, for sure.
So
I think that was really interesting, because again, I didn't know where you were going to go with this, but when I think about transacting in time, it's really, how can I get started with the pieces that I have, right? Yeah. And again, when you're getting started at 20, one of the pieces that you have is you've got probably 40 or 50 years of life ahead of you versus the seller, right? The seller's been in, they're typically much older. And that means that if you can negotiate with them and give them what they want, price in this case, you can get what you want, in this case, terms. And more importantly, this is where I think the genius in Cody is you get long-term. I'm talking 10, 15, or heaven forbid, 30-year fixed rate debt, right? You can't have a balloon. We're not talking 2-year, 3-year terms, balloons. That's, you have no idea how fast that goes. But that's a very interesting way to think about it.
Well, and if you buy $1 million property, we could even use smaller numbers, $100,000 property. Sure. If you can get into it with negligible amounts down, maybe it's only worth 80 today, but by the time I retire, it's probably going to be worth 2 to 250. So
probably, yeah.
Just if you look at the statistics of the market, you don't want to buy an area that never appreciates. But if you're buying in a decent market, as long as you can afford to wait and your debt's not going to come due or change and you have positive cash flow, there's a lot of reasons to pay a little bit more. And that's how I got my market share. If I was trying to get a steal of a deal on all my projects, I wouldn't have been able to get the market share I did. And I made a little video on this on my YouTube about transacting with time versus money. You do have to have a long-term horizon. You can't do I'm going to get in and flip it. Yeah. But I think it works out.
There's another thing that I have in my course, Get Your Money Right, that means something to me when I thought about time and money. Where I go with this equation is, think about think about your income, taxes, think about all your fixed expenses. At the end of that is discretionary income. So let's just do some numbers. Let's just say, for whatever reason, you make $5,000 and you only have 500 net at the end of the month, which is discretionary. And again, you got to remember, if that's 500 at the end of the month, that means you've worked 160 hours to have $500 disposable. So whatever that is, that's like $3 an hour. So what I try to get people to realize is that's all you're playing with, because you've already sold your life. In this case, you've sold, what would that be? 90% of your life is already sold. You only have 10% to play with. Again, that's 500 of 5,000. That's how I get to 10%. And then what I always tell people to do is go, okay, you want to go buy the new iPhone. And for this example, iPhone's $1,000. What I want people to realize is they're not transacting $1,000. They're transacting 360 hours of their life.
Crazy.
That's what I want people. When I think about transacting, I want people to convert every discretionary dollar to time. Because in my example, you're making roughly $3.25 an hour, discretionary. So you want to go out to dinner? Discretionary. Well, is it worth, I don't know, 50 hours of your life? And that's something that really gets you to think about and causes you to really stack disposable income and buy assets. Because I don't think people, like the iPhone example, people don't get it. The iPhone's not $1,000. It's 360 hours of your life you're selling to buy it. It's crazy.
That's incredible. It's definitely a different perspective. And that's a perspective I don't have and I don't think about because I don't have a W-2 and I've never had a W-2. But people think, well, if I make $25 an hour, it's 40 hours worth of work.
It's not.
That's not how it is. It's not how it is.
Exactly. You're only playing. That's what most consumers need to understand. You're making incremental decisions, dopamine hits, right? I got to get this new Nike shoes or the new purse or the iPhone or I got to go on a cruise or whatever. All of those decisions are out of the discretionary dollars because you're already paying rent. You're already paying cars. You're already gas, food, taxes, 401k, whatever. We need to change how we think. The reason you're all broke is, in your example, it's not $25 an hour. It's $3.18. We're thinking about money wrong.
Yeah. And especially for those getting started, I think the message that I was wanting to hit home on today is it's okay to pay a little bit more if you get into something that starts to build your discretionary income over long periods of time and has the opportunity to go up. I mean, and if it doesn't go up, it pays itself off and so be it. But as long as it cash flows, people shouldn't be so focused on price.
Long-term hold, cash flow day one. I mean, that's the key here. You can't have an alligator. You're not going to overpay or overstructure the debt where you're coming into the project every month to pay it. That's a recipe to go broke. But, if you're paying a little bit more, but you're still scoring $500 a month, you can pay to wait. And that's exactly the time thing you're talking about. I love the idea. It's very simple and powerful.
And one way I'm doing that actually with the connection from your channel over at Convoy, the 10-year interest only period and then amortizing over 30.
Yeah, the 40-year product. That's pretty sexy.
It's incredible. And the reason I like it, it gives me a long-term approach because if it was amortized day one, it wouldn't be a lot of cash flow.
Right.
And I only have so many resources, as does everyone else. But the ability to get an interest-only period for a decade, and rents are probably going to be higher in a decade. I don't know, but
probably a good guess.
Yeah. So my thought is if it works today, it would just be tight. Let's make it better today for a decade, and then rents will be higher and it'll take care of itself then. But just little connections like that can allow you to play this game.
Yeah, the 10-year, we can call it a 40-year product because it's 10-year IO and then 30-year fixed after that. So it's a 40-year product. It's so powerful because you also are controlling your downside. This is why your strategy works. You're not going to get hit with a surprise adjustable rate, or you're not going to be forced to refi. Let's just pay for an example. Rates are double in a decade. Well, guess what? You're not refining, right? You already know what the worst case scenario is. You've locked in. And that's why this strategy works.
Yeah. If you add any more variables, it's a good way to go bust.
Exactly.
But if you control those variables, you get rid of them and you play the long game, there's a lot of power in transacting with the time you should have on this planet rather than, I got to get a great price here and then I exit at this price and then I do it again and again. That's not predictable.
Yeah, folks, at the end of the day, if you're really just starting this journey and you're lucky enough to be in your 20s or 30s, you've got at least 50 years and probably a couple of cycles to go. Don't have to get the most amazing deal day one, although, hey, if you can, you can. But if you just change your orientation, look for long-term, no bridge debt, no adjustable rate mortgages, cash flow day one, like Cody's talking about. Just let time be your friend. What do you think?
My biggest mistake properties were with super special debt products or bridge debt.
Yep. Yeah, don't do that.
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, the biggest headaches were always with debt products less than 3 years.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you have no idea how fast 3 years goes. You have no idea. It's just goes in an instant.
Well, I'm 2 months today from my 6-year anniversary with my first property. Like it went so fast. I'm like, that would be someone's debt cycle 2 times over if they pushed it to the maturity date. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Cody, you're amazing, man. Where can people find you?
Cody Davis Business Adventures on YouTube.
Thank you, buddy. Take care.
Thanks.